Alrighty, hello. Today we have Bryce and Kenzie of the BK Pets. Thank you so much for joining me today. So to get started, why don't you tell me your names and what pronouns y'all use?
Absolutely. So I'm Bryce. I go by he, him.
I'm Kenzie, and I go by she, her. And I'm Flemmy. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's flu season, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
No kidding.
So you two have this awesome platform on TikTok and Instagram that has really been ramping up. And now you're kind of like content creators, influencers. Talk to me about how all this got started. Was this something that you always wanted to do?
I think in any respect, we always wanted to work for ourselves. We've been together for 5 years now, almost 6.
I think so.
We've been together for like 5 or 6 years now, and from the get-go, we've kind of wanted to do things or wanted to work for ourselves. So in 2018, we started a blog, and we met in the, I guess I should say this first, we met in the social media internship at the University of Wyoming. So we were doing all the social media for the athletic teams, basketball, football, all that stuff. And so we were like, well, let's start a blog teaching small businesses how to do social media and teach them some of the tips we've learned in our internship. And that earned, 75 cents in like advertising?
Maybe.
Yeah. And so then after that, we moved on to, was it the podcast next?
Yes.
We started the podcast, and that was kind of like interviewing people that did what they loved for a living and trying to figure out if there was like a formula or what all these people had in common to see how we could help others do that as well. And, that did okay. Made like $12 in advertising or something.
Yeah.
And then we had recently purchased a van to kind of get into the whole van life thing, and we were trying to convert it and everything. And while we had the van, we were like, well, let's try to connect with the community, specifically the dog community within van life. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of started like, I guess you could say a community page. It was basically Van Dogs of Instagram. So, like Dogs of Instagram, similar to that. And we tried to sell some merchandise, made a couple $100 probably. And
Mostly
then
from like his mom.
Yeah, and our friends.
One of our friends.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And then how did we get started with the pet tags?
Just the Van Dogs of Instagram wasn't doing much, and so we were kind of restless, and I don't remember if it was you or me, but we saw resin pet tags on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, we could do that. Let's do that. So then we started making resin pet tags, and
that was like in November of 2020.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And then,
I think.
Yeah, it was.
And then so December 22nd, I actually put out a video just explaining we put like little metal rings in the loop of the dog tag to secure it a little bit more so it doesn't break. And put that video out right when I got off of work. Over the next 6 days, it amassed 7 million views, and we had no followers at the time. We had like a couple hundred followers.
Yeah.
7 million views. We made $10,000 in sales, and we both put in our 2 weeks that month. So that was like kind of the start of when we actually were working for ourselves.
And getting into the pet space.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then fast forward, many months, we rent a shop and try to open up a little small business with, in hindsight, I think it probably would have turned into a pet health food store, like your local ones that you have. Mm-hmm. But we were not good business owners. And so
there's no formulas, there's no checklists,
No one's really out there saying like, if you want to start a business, here's what to do, step 1 to step 100. Mm-hmm. And so spent more money than we made, and we had to let go of a team of about 8 people, which was a very hard period for us. And during that, this was October of last year, and right after that happened, it was devastating. But right after that happened, I looked at her and I said, what if we try to turn this into full-time content creating? What if we scrap the business?
We were already making content for things like the lick mats we were selling and the supplement toppers that we were selling. And so we had to make that content regardless for us to sell it because we were mostly doing e-commerce.
Yeah, and a lot of the only products we were making in-house were like dog tags, and then we made some snuffle mats. But all the lick mats and stuff were from Soda Pup and all the popular brands. And so, one day Kenzie was taking the lick mat out of the box from Soda Pup, putting it in a new box that we were then going to ship out. And she's like, what are we doing? Why are we this middleman right now in a spot that we don't need to be. And so we were like, let's scrap this. Let's try to just do this content full time and keep working with these brands. And we did, and it ended up working out. So, we kind of made that decision in about February, I would say. And here we are.
Yes.
Ever since February, you've been doing BK Pets full time. Then kind of all the content creation and pushing it out. Got it. So you've been doing this whole social media thing, not just BK Pets, for a hot second now. And I'm sure as fellow content creators, you have some big feelings about social media. So what's kind of been the best part, the worst parts, in between?
Great question. You want to start, or me to start?
I'll start. The best part has been that it's changed our lives. We get to do what we love every single day. We get to spend all day together.
With the pups.
Yeah, with our dogs. We're kind of one of those.
You can see one of them right there. That's Banksy there, looking out the window.
Yeah. We're one of those, like, I don't know, I think it's a little less common, but like, we're married and we love to spend time together. Like,
we've always wanted to work together since the internship.
So I would say the best part is that we get to do what we love every day with the people we love. And it's for a great cause.
That's what I was going to say. On top of that is just like the community we've built. We have probably a little over 1 million total community members right now, and we receive DMs every day of people saying like, thank you so much for everything you share. I've started doing this with my dog, and it's helped this, that, and the other thing.
Really cool, like before and after pictures of like skin and coat issues.
Or teeth, like plaque after they started raw meaty bones and stuff. So the community has been absolutely incredible, and we owe everything we have to them.
Yes.
I think one of the worst parts probably comes with what most people experience with social media is just the negative side, the negative comments, the people, saying you don't have any credentials. I'm sure you've dealt with this a lot, but with those, you just learn that like they're coming from a place of having their ideals and values questioned. And so we kind of look at them and say like, we understand why you feel this way. We understand why we kind of seem like this villain because we're telling you what you're doing is not the best. And, we went through that period a year or two ago when we started feeding our dogs fresh food, and it was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Nobody wants to, or nobody would intentionally like be doing something to harm their pets.
No.
And so it's really confusing and just like this big internal battle when you hear like, oh, something that I have been taught by these professionals and that is just like the market standard is so like has such a big detriment to their health, and that just doesn't feel good. So it's hard to be the people that kind of break that news, I guess.
Yeah.
And then people coming from a place of like fear and shame.
And we try to reiterate with all of our content, like it's never designed to make anyone feel shameful. But I would say one of the other things that has become a little frustrating for me is not being able to help everyone. Like we get 100, maybe 200 DMs across our platforms every single day of people reaching out with various problems. And you look at some of them and you just think, I can't really answer any of these because number one, it's very specialized. You want to see the dog and everything. But number two, there's just so many. So I'd love to be able to connect with our community more. Just not sure how yet.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, especially with the pandemic and just social media taking over so much, everything is online a bit more. And while the online community is fabulous, you lose that in-person touch and relatability, I guess, of just having that in person, because it's so different over line versus talking to somebody in person, seeing the dog face to face. It's just two sides of completely different coins, and it's such
it absolutely is.
Being in like the pet industry or nutrition, holistic living, whatever you want to call it, it's such an interesting dynamic because you wouldn't think something like that is so. Not politicized, but that's kind of the verbiage I want to use.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think something like that. You're like, pet food? What do you mean?
Right.
There's like these, it's not binary. It's not black and white. It's so much more nuanced and complicated, and there's so many layers. But, from the outside looking in, it can look very binary and sometimes intimidating and unwelcoming.
Right. And that's the thing is, we have to be able to have these conversations about hard and controversial topics, even if it means some people are going to have their feelings hurt. But like we said, we always reiterate, everybody starts somewhere, and there's no judgment. We're all just, we got to make sure we're doing the best we can in our situation.
Well, and our only loyalty lies to the dogs.
Exactly.
It's not to a certain brand or to a certain standard.
Or a certain type, like, it's not to, our loyalty's not to raw food or freshly cooked or anything. It's to the dog and their specific situation. That's a great point.
Yeah, and I think what I love so much about your platform is how accessible and digestible you make the information, and how, it's kind of for everyone, whether you're a beginner or you've been doing this for, a couple of years now, you can still find little nuggets of information that are really helpful.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that means a lot to us. That is one thing that, like, the accessibility of fresh feeding is something that we're both really passionate about, because it just absolutely guts me. Just because you have more money, you can provide a better quality of life for your dog. Like, that doesn't seem fair to me at all.
Yeah, it's gross how much easier life becomes with more money.
Yeah.
And so, like, pets just provide so much for us, and people need them. And so just having that accessibility piece of our content means a lot. And so thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, we work hard on that.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad. So what do you think the most important thing you've learned so far in your journey has been?
Some is better than nothing.
Oh, that's great. That's
10%,
so great.
even just replacing. This is one of the things I always lead with whenever I'm talking to anybody about this, is just replacing 10% of their kibble is better than doing absolutely nothing at all. It has the potential to increase their lifespan multiple years, and just overall make their quality of life better. So
I think that's such a great point. And like what you were saying, Hanvi, is we're trying to create a platform where if somebody comes in and they go, I have $0, I feed my dog X, Y, and Z from Walmart, and I am worried about what I'm doing. We can say, hey, take your scraps, take the stuff you're not eating when you're cutting vegetables, anything, throw it in your dog's food. And so I think the most valuable thing, like Kinsey said, is telling people, no matter your situation, no matter your budget, no matter where you live, we are going to provide you content that will allow you to start making small improvements. Because, not everyone, like we just said, not everyone can feed grass-fed, free-range, 100% raw from, whatever grocery store.
Well, and along with the budget component, there's the time component. Everything is so hustle and bustle, go, go, go. It seems like we're kind of forced to have multiple jobs so that we can sustain just being alive. And so I know that there was a point in our lives when we were, especially working with the shop, working like 12-ish hours a day, basically. The last thing I wanted to do was come home and prepare this big,
lavish
meal for our dogs that, you had to measure out each component. And you can meal prep, but again, that's another huge chunk of time. And so
we've kind of decided, I would argue, in the last month, that our ultimate goal here with this entire channel is to just help people feed more fresh food. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, I love it. I always say, any amount of fresh food is better than none. And I think it's about being inclusive and welcoming, because, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. You're fitting to the owner, you're fitting to the dog, the lifestyle that they have, the resources that they have available, and it's not, I like to call them raw feeding purists. If you can't feed fresh food, you shouldn't have pets, which is a complete BS mindset. It's like, what the heck? Okay.
Yes.
So it's just nice to, hear that from other people too, and that are working towards the same goal and just trying to help everybody just do the best they can, because honestly, that's all we can do, right?
It's all we can do.
Definitely. And I would also say just the fact that people are thinking about their dog's nutrition, that is a huge step in the right direction as well. Whenever someone just messages us and we do get a chance to comment back to them or send them a message back and they're like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start, one of the first things we always say is you're starting in the perfect place. Just the fact that you're thinking about this, that is so important and so amazing for your pets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think everybody is, to an extent, overwhelmed, right, with everything, whether it's their pets.
We are.
Yeah. Same. Nobody's got it figured out. And even if we do know what we know now, we barely know anything. You know, there's more to discover and learn than we do know now, if I'm articulating that right. But it's like, you know, we know what we know, but we have to be willing to unlearn and relearn and rediscover new things, because, you know, it's all about having that open mindset and having that curious mind and just always learning and discovering and finding out all you can.
Yes, that reminds me of a quote from my most favorite person in the world besides Bryce, Brene Brown, is, I'm not here to be right, I'm here to get it right. And so that resonates with me across all realms of life.
That's a huge part of our platform, is telling people, you know, we are just learning a lot of this information, and sometimes we'll learn some information and then something new will come out and that turns out to not be correct, but we will let you know. We will keep you informed, because we just want you to learn with us. Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance is real, y'all. Oh my gosh.
Yes, absolutely.
My goodness. And it's hard, but I feel like the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like, I'm okay with being wrong, because, you know, nobody is right all the time, and we're all human. We're all living the human experience, the human life, and it's just, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
To be right all the time is just exhausting anyways, like...
Probably impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, are you guys doing the Cassie course right now? I remember somebody, like, messaged me, and they were like, oh, I'm doing this course. I was like, oh, really?
Yep,
how's that going for you?
Absolutely, I am. Good. I'm actually about to turn in my very last one outside of the elective course, so I believe I'll get my certification after this one.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm doing the advanced course. I did the normal one during COVID, I think. You know, when I had all the time in the world.
Totally.
But,
yeah, no, it's been great. It's been hard, pretty challenging. So, and then I'm also, next semester, we're moving down to Colorado, and I'm starting pre-vet. So that'll be a whole new adventure, too.
Okay. Are you going to Colorado State?
Ideally, yes. So, I mean, being from Wyoming, we're avid travelers down to Colorado, and obviously CSU is a fantastic vet school, but also open if that doesn't work out. So, we'll see.
Okay, well, good luck with that, man.
Thank you.
How's the course going for you?
Yeah, how's the advanced stuff?
It's going good. Yeah, I'm in like I'm learning I'm in the nutrition and behavior course, and I'm getting like a crash course on neurons online, doing like some self-research first and how it like all ties in with the brain and the spinal cord and nerves.
Whoa.
It's pretty intense, but I'm also a behavior nerd too, so it also is like, okay, yeah, it's fun. And it's also different than, I recently came back from school, actually. I was at UC Davis and did a Una reverse card.
Oh.
Just because, spicy. I took a gap year, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go do the vet stuff. And then I got there, and I was like, just kidding.
Yep.
So,
it's good for you, though. We're huge advocates of trying stuff and quitting stuff and trying new stuff and just trying everything you want, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta
Even
quit
he
everything
said,
until you find something you don't.
Exactly,
yeah. Even he has said, like, there's potential I get my, like, pre-vet stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, and that's okay.
Just gotta not resist the flow and just let the flow, just go with it, you know?
Yes,
True,
definitely.
true. So I'm curious, this is more of like a fun question from me personally. If you could remove all barriers, all constraints, are there any cool projects or ideas that you'd like to do?
Oh, wow.
I think I have an answer for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So this is a side note. One thing I think is a strength of ours is that Bryce is definitely the forefront of the fresh feeding, and he's taking the courses. And I think one thing that I offer, other than awesome ideas on content, is the perspective of our audience. Because I'm interested in this realm of the world, obviously, but it doesn't totally come as naturally to me as it does to you two.
I would say the perfect definition of what you are is an informed pet parent. You are like the people in our community, and I'm sure you have these people as well that are, you know, kind of all in on this, but like a lot of it is still very new to them.
Yes.
You know?
So I'm able to really be like, we'll come up with an idea, and he'll be like, okay, here's my script, and I'm like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So that being said, we share these dreams, but For you, I think no barriers, no restrictions, no having to have any credentials. You would want to open up like a research center.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Another thing I think you and I have talked about before too. Have you heard of Veterinary Emergency Group?
No, I haven't.
So it's kind of you might have seen them on TikTok at some point, but it's kind of a new wave of vets, or vet offices, I should say,
Well,
vet
emergency
clinics.
vet.
Let me
Yeah,
Google it. What's it
emergency
called?
vets. Yeah, VEG, Veterinary Emergency Group. And so the reason we found out about them was because we were in Colorado for like the whole month of July, and Banks, we thought, had a
Case of GDV.
GDV situation after he'd just eaten. So we had like called one vet, they couldn't get us in for 45 minutes. Then we called Veg, and they were like, "Bring him right now. We're at this address." We literally carried him in, and we were presented with a table and a vet, and there were 4 or 5 nurses around us. But
So it's like a waiting room, and then there, like where you are seen, is just this big open room, and there's a bunch of like examination tables and people sitting on the ground with their pets, and so it's like a very open concept. And
Kind of
so
like
they're-
triage-ish.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. So their main goal is like you don't ever have to be separated from your pet the entire time. I mean, Banks went in for X-rays, but they were
Right.
like, "Here's a
Yeah,
window.
we could
you
see
can
him the
watch
whole time."
like see everything that's going on with him." And so, like, they let people stay overnight with their pets. Like, you don't have to leave your pet at all. And it was just like the most, for the scary times, like emergencies with your pets, like the most calm and like kind environment. They would come by and be like, "Do you need water? Do you need a snack?"
it was
like,
fantastic.
They brought over like a bean bag for me to sit on so I could hold Banks. Oh, it was amazing.
It was really great. And so along with that, I think it would be, I have 2 kind of areas that I'd like to go. It would be cool to open up a line of like, not commercial, but more franchised holistic vet offices. Because I'm trying to just, it'd be really cool to get more holistic vets out there. Number 2, and I don't know if you and I have talked about this, I think we have a little bit, but essentially 911 for animals. So figuring out a way to have like ambulances and more emergency services for animals. And as we were just talking about, in an accessible way. I've also thought about, pet insurance and stuff, but like we went to Veg and it was $1,000 and he didn't have GDV. And so it's like, it was worth paying it. It was worth finding out. And, we're very privileged that we could afford that. But golly, millions of people cannot. Hundreds of millions of people cannot. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but no barriers. It's something about improving health on like a research level or increasing pet care
Like
in some
accessibility.
capacity.
And a lot of that taps into like society, making capitalism
Yes.
crumble, and society's going to fall apart and things like
Yes.
that. But back to pets.
I know it. Before our
Little
blood starts to
side
boil
note.
too much.
I know. Little Gen Z side note.
Yes.
So, are you guys doing this
Absolutely.
full time now?
Yeah, so we actually, when we quit our jobs, that was January 2021. And so we did the business for it was probably about 13, 14 months total up until that February. And we had just been doing the business. We had probably about negative $1,000 in our bank account for 4 or 5 months straight.
When
So
I
it was-
tell you we are advocates for you have to fail and fail
Yeah.
and fail and fail. Like,
we fail hard when we
because
fail.
we did it.
But yeah, and then in February we kind of switched that around and, obviously do a lot of the affiliate stuff, and we have incredible partners that we work with, but we've been doing really pet content full time for almost 2 years now, this January.
That's awesome. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Scary.
think I've been doing it because I started when I was in high school. I'm only 19. If
Oh,
you
wow.
guys didn't know. Yeah. I
had no idea.
started.
You're 19?
Yeah.
Wow.
How old do you think I
Good
was?
for you.
Thank
At
you.
least 23, 24.
Really?
Yeah.
And not in a
Yeah,
bad
I've gotten-
way, just very,
Yeah, I've
like,
gotten that.
you're very
all my
established.
life. Yeah, I started
sure.
this when I was 15. And it didn't start out as an
Wow.
educational platform, but it transformed into that. So
Yeah.
it's
for
interesting.
you.
Thank you.
Looking back, that's one of the things I like. If I could do it again, obviously we had met in college, so I wouldn't change any of that. But if I could keep everything else the same, I wouldn't go to college, and I would start something entrepreneurial right out of high school. Because golly, that's just the quickest way to start doing what you love. And, you don't have many risks or a lot of responsibilities right out of high school. So,
well, and we could play the what if game all day.
Totally.
But here's a really funny fact about Bryce and how this just like you never would have been able to get into this right away. Harper was his very first pet that we got in 2018.
And she's 4.
And she's
Is that one of the Aussies?
Yeah, she's the black Aussie, the black tribe.
Yes. So like he grew up in a home with 0 pets, white carpet, like
military parents, very structured.
So there's no way you would have been able to get into that.
I always wanted a dog, but was not thinking about canine nutrition in any capacity out of high school.
Yes.
My degree is in journalism, and hers is marketing. So
Hey, that works though. It's still useful in this space.
It does,
It really
and that's
is.
like I think that's a big reason of why we've had so much success. Is like we had that base, and then we started learning about all the pet stuff, so we kind of knew the social media side of it.
Well, and just like the timing of our social media internship, like 5-6 years ago, like that was when social media was definitely on the rise, but like even businesses weren't really utilizing it very much.
And virality was only a thing like on YouTube, like Charlie
like
bit my finger stuff.
Facebook.
Yeah, not TikTok or anything.
No. So
Yeah.
TikTok has
Crazy.
consumed my life. I had to delete the freaking app off my phone. It's only on my desktop now to
She did too.
upload
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm done.
I can't
do it.
It's literally I listened to a podcast and it was like, "Are you addicted to TikTok?" And I like listened to the three. It was like you're on it for more than like 30 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, yeah. I'm deleting the freaking app. I can't. Silicon Valley has taken over my brain.
Yep.
Oh my god.
The only way I justify it is by telling myself it's research because I'm looking for dog
That's
videos
what I
to react
say too.
to.
And then it's never dog videos. It's like the most random crap.
No. And like I see a dog video, I'm like, oh, skip. So yeah, it's not justifiable.
I know. And you think as like content creators, you'd be like, oh yeah, we totally have a healthy relationship with social media. Totally. Because it's like our job.
Or you'd at least be sick of it by the time you're done working. But now I'm like,
Right.
finally, some TikTok time.
I know.
So I
it's
want to hear
dopamine.
about. Yeah, the dopamine is real. I want to hear about your adventure through this. So you started when you were 15.
Yeah, what was
Yes.
it first?
So Stormy, my dog, you've probably seen her over my page. She's my baby. I got her when I was freaking 11. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so
As a
she
puppy?
was. Yeah, so I used to ride horses before this, and just stopped because of like racism, and everybody's white there and really elitist and classist. But that's a whole different story. So after I quit Horse World, I had gotten her from the barn I was riding at, and she's like such a freaking good dog. I don't think I'm ever gonna find a dog like her ever again in my life. And so I'm just like, she's like 8 now, so I'm just like every single day, I love you so much,
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah. And then about when she was 3 or 4 years old, I watched Pet Fooled, and one of my family friends was like, hey, you are into dogs and animals, watch this. And it like completely flipped my world upside down. I was like, what the heck? Because you don't think about it unless you're exposed to it. It's like that's how I got into the world. I was just like, food buffalo, kibble, yeah, whatever, asking my vet. And she's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
And I just started sharing like bull pictures and stuff like that. And then I started going to like conferences, and I started making like infographics for fun, and started like a little blog, share my adventures. And then
I love this. You were like 15 making infographics.
We were 21 when we started ours, so you are way ahead of us.
This is so awesome.
It's small, but it's a little good community I've built. It's a little good little platform we have going on. And I don't know, it's just built, and it's gotten much more scientific and credible, and I just try to use science, evidence-based things and share it in a accessible, digestible manner to everyone all over the world.
So
And I'm just kinda
fantastic.
Yeah, that is so
everything.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
I mean, I want to do the old reverse Uno on you. If you had no barriers, what would be the dream?
So I'd have missed a crap ton of research first. And I'd like to do like a little traveling holistic shop. I'm not like I guess not holistic shop situation, but like a traveling little like food truck size, and it had like raw food and like all the supplements you needed, and I could just drive around the world and be like, yo, you need some freeze-dried treats or you want some like topples? I got you, man.
Yeah, just like throwing them out the windows.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is so fun.
So I'm curious, walk me through a day-to-day in the BK household as full-time content creators, what you guys are doing.
Got it.
Well, full disclosure, we live with my mom right now because
We've been looking for a house for 5 months.
yeah, when we finished
Isn't like the house
shop,
economy like plummeting? I don't know. That's what all I see on TikTok is like millennials
it's-
trying to buy houses and they're like crying.
Oh, God,
Yes.
it's so bad. And we're not even trying to buy, we're just trying to rent. So when we went down, I told you we went out to Colorado for that month. We were basically living nomadic at that time. So sorry to interrupt the whole question and everything, but a little backstory. In April, we left Wyoming, sold all of our stuff, packed the dogs and everything we could fit in the car, and drove to California. We were like, we're done. We're out of here. We're both born and raised in Wyoming. And so then we ran out of money. We came back with her mom, stayed for a little, and then we were like, okay, let's move to Colorado because we're going to start looking for a house in like 4 weeks in Colorado, guaranteed to find something. Found nothing. Literally nothing.
not even close.
Not even close. And so now we finally found a house and we'll be moving next month. So everything has worked out. But what was the original question?
What's a day like?
Oh, yeah.
So
You go, sorry.
we wake up in my mom's house, which we're so lucky. Like, we're very lucky to have a place to have fallen back on because there are so many people that don't have that. Like, and it's not bad.
No, it's just we're just ready for our own place and to kind of, we're just so ready. At least I'm so ready to be out of Wyoming. I love Colorado and just, more. We can't even feed a DIY raw diet. I'm basically starting a DIY raw diet when we get to Colorado because we just don't have access to stuff here. So we wake up.
I usually meditate, go to yoga, come back, we'll make lunch, and then we, for a couple hours, work on content and projects.
You've got to say it. You have to. What do we do after lunch?
Okay, now I'm curious. You have to say it. You can't leave me
have
on a
to.
cliffhanger like this. Bryce is leading me on. This is slander.
We write in our book because
We don't write
have
in our book.
A
We-
book deal.
we-
We write our book.
We are currently writing. We've been tasked to write the ultimate modern pet parenting guide. And
That's
so
so
we actually,
awesome.
we're very excited. Thank you. Our deadline is basically the date we're moving, middle of next month, to have it totally done. So yeah, mid-afternoon, we write. You keep telling them your day.
We write for like an hour or two, and then we work on content for an hour or two, and then we both have like an additional hour or two of like personal learning, whether that's like learning more about social media strategies. I'm working on the Real Dog Box parent course right now.
We're taking a course on how to create courses so we can like kind of start creating some, guides to fresh feeding and stuff.
And then make dinner. We feed the dogs in there, obviously, two
Yeah.
times. It's always hard because I'm like, there's nothing exciting about our day-to-day
Well, and
life.
yours changes a lot. Because she goes to yoga pretty much every day, and so she's got yoga at a lot of different times. So basically, I wake up, feed the dogs, and then
We have a deal that started basically when we started feeding raw and fresh that I'm just a sensitive little tummy gal, and I can't handle a lot of the smells, and so
we were feeding a lot of green tripe at the time, so it was valid.
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
So
understandable.
I do the dishes, and now that we're feeding raw, the poop isn't so bad. Raw and fresh, the poop isn't so bad. So I do dishes and I pick up poop, and Bryce is the primary.
Yeah, I love
feeder.
to feed them though.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it. And so I'll wake up, I'll feed them, and then I do like an hour or two of. Right now it's Kazi. When I go to pre-vet, it'll be pre-vet, but just like an hour or two of personal learning. And then a little before lunch, I'll probably look at the content calendar and kind of see what the day looks like. We're not batching content in advance right now. We're kind of just doing it day of, which is not fun, but, you know, we're writing a book and doing a bunch of other things. And then, like she said, we'll do lunch and then write our book.
After lunch, we've been trying to walk the dogs.
Yeah, we try to get them
out.
We usually do like a walk, like a 20, 30-minute walk in the morning, and then in the evenings we do a 20-minute walk to the field, and then they run around the field for half hour, and then we walk home.
It's been a struggle, though, lately, because Harper is... It is getting cold, but Harper just has no chill on a leash.
And
like,
training is not our strong suit at all.
No, so we've kind of opted out of the morning walk.
Yeah.
But we'll, like, play with them in the yard.
And they get enrichment pretty much every day, and then we'll drive them to the field in the evening if it's too cold to walk. And then I'm an avid gamer, so I play video games generally in the evenings. So
what games?
I'm an avid Game of Throneser, so I like to read Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch House of the Dragon?
I didn't. I watched like the first season of Game of Thrones, and it was not for me. But I mean, I get why people like it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little slow, but it's like one of those things where if you watch it the whole time, you'll end up watching it like a dozen times.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm playing just a lot of like NBA 2K, I like sports games, and then some Call of Duty. But I'm really excited for this new for this first Harry Potter game coming out next year. Have you heard about it?
I have not.
Oh my
I'm not a
gosh.
Harry Potter fan, but I'm
Really?
I mean, I read the first book, I think, when I was really young, and the movie, and it just didn't hook me. I'm sure if I read it now, I'd probably like it, because I do like a good science fiction, but I'm a Pokemon game girl. Every single Pokemon game I have probably played. Ooh. I love it so much. I will hold myself up for a whole Saturday and just play for 12 hours straight, which is not very healthy, but you know... You need days like
it is though. It's healthy for the dopamine, like we were talking about. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a typical day. Nothing too exciting.
Well, then we'll eat dinner and
we're trying to do a lot of cooking right now. We eat out too much, but we cook, 6-7 meals a week probably. So
we
not
try
bad.
really
That's
hard.
good, man. I am unhealthily addicted to DoorDash with my brother. We have this.
Too.
It's so bad. Like, literally, any present... My younger brother, he's, like, 13, and he's a total foodie. Any present I need, Christmas, birthday, whatever, DoorDash gift card.
That's smart. That's really smart.
That's so smart. Yeah. Luckily, thank goodness, there is literally, like, nothing to DoorDash in Cody.
It's like Taco John's and Burger King.
Yeah, and that's it.
But Colorado's going to be banging for DoorDash.
What area are you moving to?
Fort Collins. So,
okay.
The town where CSU is.
Yeah. So northern Colorado.
Okay. That's nice. Colorado nice. I've never been.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's, they're like 300 days of sunshine down there and
when we move,
4 seasons
you'll
still.
have to come visit.
Yeah.
Totally.
We have a house that's great for hosting, so we'll host you and everything.
Oh, yes. Thanks. Is it harder to breathe since the elevation? Or don't you notice?
People have told us because we're born and raised here, like, we lived in Laramie, which was 7,200 feet. We're pretty used to it, but I'm also in no way an athlete and run out of breath on our walks, so I'm not the right person to ask either.
Yeah. You're in California?
Yeah, I was there because I was going to go to UC Davis, and then I went in a reverse because of mental health, and it was, it really prioritizes memorization over comprehension, which is really frustrating for me because, like, I don't just want to spit it out on a test, and I want to learn it and comprehend it and, like, have it forever in my brain, which sometimes mean I have to go a little bit slower than just, okay, test, done.
Yes. School was so hard for me. So hard. It took me 5 years to get a marketing degree because I am that way as well. And unfortunately, like you were saying, universities are not always that interested in helping people fully understand. They just want good scores. And
at the end of the day, it's an institution. So,
my opinion, is to put out more people into the capitalism cog. They're creating more employees.
Facts. Literally waiting for society to crumble. But anyways, that's what I do in my free time. So, I know you guys you have so many balls up in the air right now, which is so fun to hear about. What's some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now?
I would say one of them is time for sure. I think that I would love to be producing more content than we are. We're putting out about a video or two every day, but I'd love to be putting out 1 or 2 YouTube videos a week, a podcast a week. We haven't announced it yet, but we're announcing it today. We are launching a virtual book club for our community, and we're doing it. Do you know Rachel Fasaro? Fellow creator? Yeah, we're doing it with
Rachel.
her. And so, that'll be starting, I think, towards the end of this month, I believe.
The 17th?
Yeah, 17th, I think. But yeah, we'll put out our video and everything today. But yeah, I like time, and then I'd love to have some sort of team. I'm sure you know Real Dog Box. We went out and visited them in June, and Ruby just has such an incredible team around her, and like obviously they just put out killer content. So something like that is definitely what I'm striving for. You?
Oh, mine's deep, and I might get emotional, but I would love to heal my, not my, just the scarcity mindset that I have and the constant worrying, like, is this going to work? Is this going to last? Are people going to follow us? Is this sustainable? What if tomorrow everybody decides they don't like us and they want to follow? Not even that. It's one thing that I have recently learned with Rachel is that this world of this niche that we're in, which I don't know if this is what it's like for all content creators in all niches and influencers, but like there is no competition really because brands want multiple people talking about their product. So it's not like if we get a deal, Rachel misses out on it or vice versa. So
that's one thing that we've been struggling with is like trying to not see fellow creators as competitors because as you know, we're all on Team Dog.
Yes.
At the end of the day, and the more creators there are spreading the message of fresh food, the more dogs are benefiting.
Well, and we're all really lucky in this niche, this niche because I can never remember. 94%
of
dogs in North America are fed only kibble. So like there's a huge market out there for all of us, and like we're all going to strike different chords with different people, and working together just is always better than like being alone, you know. So for me, that's my biggest challenge is not being afraid that everybody's going to decide they hate us tomorrow and only follow Rachel, because, like, that's not a thing.
Well, and one hard thing we're trying to learn is, like, we built this with a huge series of very small steps, and so it's not going to go away just from one thing or the other. I mean, maybe it would if we're Kanye West, but we're not Kanye West, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a couple of our challenges.
Yeah, I can totally relate.
Absolutely.
And something that really shifted my mind is that because it's hard, especially, you know, I'm pretty not a lot. How do I want to phrase this? Everywhere needs more diversity and inclusion, right? And it's hard, especially being a queer Korean American woman in spaces like this. It's like, especially at the top, you know, AFCO meetings. I was talking to Billy Hookman, and I was like, oh, what's the demographic, man? It's all old white men. But, and I think, you know, a couple things that really have been able to shift my mindset is, you know, somebody else's success doesn't equate to my failure.
Yeah. Right? Yes. Wow, that's great perspective.
That is such a good perspective.
And it's like, honestly, the next generation, Gen Z, millennials, nobody's going to have kids. Everybody's going to have dogs. So, if anything, people are just going to be, we're just creating more pet parents.
Right.
Yes,
I mean, there's like 90, 100 million dogs as pets right now in the United States or North America? I can't remember. There's enough to go around for all of us.
Absolutely. Definitely. Oh, I just thought of something I wanted to ask and just...
Write it down if you remember it.
Okay.
We didn't even grab a piece of paper. You can grab that bill.
I, like, literally applaud you guys because you put out content almost every day. And I bet it's a lot different dynamic, especially since there's two of you. Because I'm going to do this, and then ADHD kicks in, and I just sit in this, and I just stare at the wall, and I'm like, wonderful. Yep. I am in a pit of despair of my own brain.
Yes, the paralyzation is real.
Absolutely.
Transitions are really hard for us. That's what we have noticed and found, is that we're like, okay.
Like if we're watching a show at lunch or something,
okay, we're gonna get up.
3, 2, 1, now.
Yeah.
Now. But once we get started, it's not bad. It's just those transitions.
Yeah.
Getting out of bed in the morning, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, going through the motions of humaning, being human is
Are
very
exhausting.
hard.
How is anybody doing it?
Don't even get me started on
know.
food either. Trying to
Oh my
formulate
God.
3 meals a day. Sometimes I wish I could just eat kibble every day and be good.
I know. It's like
Not actually,
it's-
but-
yeah, you grow up and you realize taking care of yourself is hard.
It's
It is
ridiculously
really
hard.
I don't know how anybody above the age of like 40 is functioning.
They gotta be exhausted.
Just exhausted. Taking
Yeah.
care of themselves, going to a job every day.
Yes.
So, do you do content full time?
Yeah, right now it's a full-time thing. I'm trying to create it more sustainable because I'm making like $200 every month. Wow, cha-ching. But, I try to create from an unconditional place, not be so transactional, because when I look at the views, look at the numbers, look at how much money I'm making, it really stunts my creativity for me. It's like I don't,
Yes.
Totally.
I just want to be able to create and do the things I want versus look at the analytics and how many views, how many likes, who disliked, things like that. But
Totally.
it's also social media, so you kind of have to. So it's a balance.
Yes.
And it's I'm ramping up full time. I'm trying to create a more sustainable schedule to figure out how I'm going to do it. And honestly, basically I just created this show to talk to cool people so I wouldn't feel so alone in the community.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to
that's
talk to a
smart.
bunch of other
Yes.
people.
Yes. Well, let's schedule a call outside of this and see what we can help brainstorm with you. And
Oh, thank
see,
you.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you've obviously got a lot of information. Like, once we started doing that with Rachel, we were like, holy cow,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
We had so much mutual information to share. So
Yeah.
it's so much easier to grow together than it is alone.
Yes. Well, and here, I remember what I was going to say. I don't know how you feel about this, but I was working with an energy healer and talking about how I get so frustrated when I see other people that make content similar to ours and when it does better than ours. And she was just talking to me a lot about, she was like, you have to be happy for them and you have to put out good energy towards them. You have to share their content. You have to love them. You have to their successes, like you said, don't equate to your failure. And since I have been working to turn that around and really just trying to feel that with my whole being, we're connecting now. We're getting asked to be on podcasts with other creators. We've made a friendship with Rachel, a friendship with you. So it's hard, but we are hardwired for community. Our girl
As
Brene,
humans.
we need
Brene
community.
Brown,
We
I
need connection all day, every day. My Lord and Savior. But yeah, so I think building this community, we've obviously all built communities. So building a community within us as content creators can only just mean more growth and success and happiness, because I mean, there's 2 of us here, so we're able to be like, oh, that comment really sucked, are we failures, blah, 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 blah. So I can't imagine what it's like doing this, on your own and having to have those conversations with yourself. So even just being able to talk to Rachel and being like, oh, this comment, ugh, and she's like, ugh, you know what I mean? So we just need to start all talking more and sharing that.
Definitely.
Totally. So we're going to end on a little bit of joy. We've talked about lots of wonderful things, but what do you think has been one of your favorite or proudest moments so far?
One second. Okay, perfect. That's a good question. I mean, so I would say right now we have just spoken with Dr. Judy Morgan, and she's going to write a foreword and review our entire book just to make sure everything is accurate and stuff. I would say that's one of my proudest moments, because to me, that's a vet saying, I believe in your work enough to put my name on it as well, and to put my reputation on it, especially one as lengthy and impressive as hers. I literally just listened to you and her podcast this morning before this one.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, that's definitely one of my proudest moments. And then obviously anytime someone sends us before and after photos or results or talks about something working. It makes you feel so good to have that tangible thing that says you helped this pet parent figure something out with their animal. So that's it for me.
I think I'm most proud that obviously I love being able to see the pets that we have helped, and that's my favorite now thing. But I think overall I'm the most proud that we chose to show up every single day, that we chose to believe in ourselves. Oh, I might cry.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid. That was hard.
Just putting ourselves out there.
Yeah. With everything with the business, after, we were we're failures. Like I said, we had to let go of a team of 8 people, and I'm very proud of that too. The fact that we were able to say, this doesn't have to be the end. We don't have to go out and get jobs we hate. We don't have to do any of that. We just have to revamp a little bit. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Just pivot and keep going.
Exactly. Yep. You don't never lose. It's win or learn.
I wasn't expecting to cry.
I know, it's emotional. So many big feelings come up doing this kind of work that I don't think the average human would do, because you're just putting yourself on the spotlight. And then the internet, it's freaking huge. It's crazy. It's there forever for anybody to see.
It's so vulnerable.
I was just gonna say, it's like Renee says, the vulnerability is hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But it's where the magic happens.
Yeah. It's true. And lastly, I like to ask all of our beautiful guests, if you can give pet parents one piece of advice, what would it be, however you interpret the question?
Be gentle with yourself. You're going to learn a lot of things that might point to you doing something wrong, but look at yourself and any shame you feel about what you're currently doing. Look at that as your dog. If your dog did something wrong, you wouldn't be mad at it. You wouldn't yell at them. I mean, some people would, but we wouldn't, us in this community. And so just be gentle with yourself as you're going through this journey and learning all this stuff, and understand that we all started somewhere. We fed kibble. We did everything that we now recommend not to do. We all have a starting point.
I would say yes, but also just committing to being a lifelong learner, and committing to, like I said, not being here to be right, but to get it right. Because, I mean, even today, we're learning things. We recently put out a video of Cooper after going to the park with the ball thrower and getting caught. We were just oh, this is so funny. He's so obsessed with the ball. And people are this is really unhealthy. I thought this account was about extending and enriching your lives of your pets, and this is just stressful for him and stuff. So just knowing that it doesn't matter if you get it right every time, but just committing to trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Bryce and Kenzie, for your time and energy, and just thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you, Hanvi.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We're very honored.
Yes, so fun.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. So how